All right. Listen, 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 listen. God bless you. God keep you. You know, that's my prayer. And welcome to Leading from the Future. I am your host, Dr. Pastor Anthony D. Shannon, a prophet you can trust. Believe that. Listen, we are here once again, welcoming you from wherever you're watching all over the world. All right. And we're just so godly proud for what he's doing with leading from the future. We're not here to be um, from behind. Oh, no, 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 no. We always want to be on the cutting edge of what's going on and what's happening. All right. And we don't, right here, we're not here just to talk and talk. No, no. We want to be a catalyst even for you. It is our desire and our goal to help many of you to get off of your couch and to find your voice and then start using your voice like some of these that you're going to hear as we have brought on our show. This show is about people who have been through trials, tribulations, crisis, and overcame them. The people who have resilience that you can learn from their stories. What did they do to not quit, to not cave in, to not back up? What role did leaders, mentors, and of course, God Almighty, what did He do? How did He bring them out? Well, listen, welcome to Leading from the Future, where we do not just talk about where you are, we speak into where you are called to be. And today, man, I am honored, all right, to have on our show today a man who is helping people find their voice, his own story, right? And then he helped them find their stories. He helps them to step boldly into their purpose. He is a dynamic speaker, an author, and a coach committed to unlocking the power that is already inside of whoever you are. He has been trained and developed under the leadership of Dr. Cheryl Wood, and he carries a passion to help emerging leaders, speakers, and visionaries turn their life experiences into influence, income, and lasting impact. He is not just building speakers, trust me, he's building voices that shift atmosphere and creates a legacy. So why don't you get ready? Because this conversation is about to stretch your thinking, sharpen your focus, and ignite your next level. Are you hearing me? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the one and only Dr. Eric Holmes. Through his work in personal development and publishing, he's committed to helping you reach your full potential. Won't you clap those hands and welcome Dr. Eric Holmes to Leading from the Future? Welcome, my brother. How you doing?
All is good, my awesome, amazing brother. All is good and all is well.
Well, good, 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 man. Well, first of all, thank you for being a yes to be on the guest of Leading from the Future. It is our honor to have you, man. You know, we've connected many, many times, and you're doing a great work and working, speaking on different stages. Got your book, even preach. Come on now. His boy is multi-talented and anointed all at the same time. And so listen, we always ask people this question. You know, first of all, Eric, who are you? You know, before the platforms, before the microphone, before the recognition, and then where were you born? Who's your mom? Who's your dad? What high school did you go to?
So first of all, to God be all the glory just for the invitation to share on this amazing platform. It's always an honor, a privilege, and I'm grateful because anytime that we're able to come into someone else's vision and dream, it's always a privilege and an honor. And also to share with the world, share your voice. And so I am originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, born and raised, come from a family of eight.
Harrisburg. All right.
Yeah, Harrisburg, PA. So I have five brothers, two sisters, and my mom. Coming from a family of eight, I have five brothers, two sisters. My one sister passed, my one brother passed, and then my mother and father transitioned. So truly come from a family of love, a family of support, bonding, and I'm grateful for that, for the teaching. Went to the Harrisburg school system in Harrisburg, PA. I went to Harrisburg. I graduated from there, went to Harrisburg Area Community College, and there it all began.
Well, well, what's your mom and dad name?
My mother, the rest her soul in heaven, the late Ernestine Folks Holmes, and
Okay.
my father, the late Paul M. Jones. Um, he is originally from New Orleans, and then of course my mother is originally from Harrisburg, PA.
So were they the ones early on that shaped you into becoming the leader that you are today?
Yes, my mother, being that she raised like eight of us,
Okay.
but instilled in us the values of family, God, love, um, coming up together, and being there for one another.
Okay.
Always a hard worker, done a lot in the community, and I definitely get that servitude come from my mom.
Okay.
She would feed the community, working and making sure, and everybody knew her, everybody loved her, and so even her church, um, that they grew up in. So getting those values instilled in you early, it just carried you through even up until now.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. So let's think about it then as we go back, and do a retrospect of your life. What moment then in your life made you realize that, your voice carried some weight to it?
Wow. Always, even, well, I would say even from when I was like in first grade.
Okay.
Um, it's always being a voice, or sharing, always encouraging people, and that was even from a young age, even growing up and being in the choirs and all of that. But even in school, elementary school, we would always have, and I think this entrepreneur came even at an early age too, because in first grade we would have this store. So good grades, all of that, perfect attendance, and you were able to go to the store. And my mom had, like, we had like sold Converse All Stars. So in first grade, I was rocking every color Converse before so many people was doing this, like even at first grade, but always being able to be a light to others. So it really started even at an early age, even when I was in the first grade, but always just encouraging people. We lived on a main street, so we knew everybody. Everybody knew my family. And so, it started like from an early age.
Okay. So everybody knew everybody. You said
Yes.
they knew your family. Y'all was on the main street. What do you mean by main street?
Okay. North 6th Street. It's
Okay.
all, like it was like a, say, like a Northern Parkway or something, or 83. But
Okay.
the thing I love about it is when we grew up, neighbors, family, community, like we had keys to each other's homes, and what I mean, you could leave your doors unlocked in, but you can't do that now. However, but they would watch us, you know what I'm saying? And you could be corrected, and they looked out for everybody in the community. And so that helped us shape us, even to who we are today, because those values, that strong community,
Okay.
everybody was family.
Everybody was family.
Everybody was family.
Okay. So you saying that back then, the neighbor or somebody else, they saw you getting out of hand, they'll check you.
Absolutely. And then call, or let your parents know. And then of course you got it when you got home, even in school, even when we were coming up in school, they
Yeah.
could correct you. They could, you know what I'm saying? And I remember one of the teachers, he passed away, and I ended up speaking at his homegoing service. Uh, Mr. Smith, like, we got paddled in school. And then my mom worked for the school system. Then my oldest sister, who will be 75 next week, she was on the school board. So for me, it was like I definitely had to stay on that right track, even though, we did things, but being as though they were part of the school system. My mom worked at the school system, then my sister was on the school board. So then everybody knew her. So, from the teachers and all of that. So it was a different time when we came up. That upbringing and, community, our teachers, school, all of that was so different because, they would challenge us, they would push us, they would encourage us, they would correct us. And you took that and you applied it.
Mm. You know, that's pretty good that you bring that up because you're absolutely right. It was a different day then than it is today. People would dare not to even think to help somebody or to correct someone or to even push their kids because they don't know what the parent would do to them or say to them. That's for sure. So, as you're thinking about all of this, was there a defining struggle that shaped your message and what it is today?
Well, I think with different transitions at different point of life, and we all know we've done things, we made mistakes, we've fallen short, all of that. But it all was part of the journey and part of the process. Like for me, I love to throw a good party, but always, I was on an honor roll, went to college, school, all of that. But however, um, I used to I threw all the biggest parties, you know what I'm saying? It was part of it. Um, Even in the process, we laugh about it now, but it was also I always had a way of bringing people together. And so the different transitions, the different jobs, going through school, um, it made me and shaped me, because it gave me the values. I remember in school being challenged by, say, my typing teacher. Like we had typing.
Oh, yeah, that's
Uh,
right.
yeah, so we had that, and then even for my biology, like I would in my algebra, my teachers, like I finished my test, and I remember Dr. Love, rest his soul, it's like I know you're not finished. I'm getting ready to call your sister. Now my sister was on the school board, so I'm like, oh wow. But with him challenging me to do that, to go back, look over my biology test,
Okay.
which I end up graduate with an A in it. So we had people that would challenge you, would push you, would encourage you, but also making sure that they pulled the best out of you.
Wow.
With him saying, "Oh, I'm getting ready to call your sister," I was like, "Oh
Uh-huh.
Lord, she on the school board," and you know how it is back then, your family name, and you know how they would say, "Oh, you better not mess up the family name," and all of that. It's a whole different now, but when we look at it now, it's like, wow, what if he wouldn't have challenged me? Could have dropped my GPA, could have
Yeah.
even when I got the scholarship to go to college for the urban league, which they don't have no more. Like, wow,
Right, right.
so many different things when we look at it, but I'm glad they challenged us from my algebra teacher and my typing teacher. No, she's like, Miss Blaze was like, go back. Then she was a godly woman too. She was godly, and she was like, no, go back. You got to go back and take that test all over again. But it helped me because I'm a phenomenal typist. But we had people that would challenge us
Yes.
and push us to bring what the best out of us.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have just tuned in, you're tuning in to Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Anthony D. Shannon, a prophet you can trust, with our special guest, Dr. Eric Holmes. Listen, we're going to take a break and we're going to be right back. But I want to encourage many of you to right now go and get the book, The Unshakable. All right. I want you to get my book, The Unshakable. This book will help you to stand strong when things go wrong. See, you can't stop the storms of life from raging, but I promise you, you can discover how to be unshakable. You remember Jesus was in that boat, storm was going down, and you know what he said? Peace, peace still. Man, he was unshakable. And I want you to get this book. It's practical, it's powerful, and it's a guide that will guide you and help you to discover how to face and survive life's scariest storms. And you can do it unscathed because you will learn how to be unshakable. All right. Come on, scan the QR code and get that book today. And then I want to encourage you to get a part and be a part of our Leaders Live Generously Academy. We're getting geared up for you. All right. And we are taking on new clients now so that you can learn leadership skills, mindset, overcoming, right? How to have a resiliency of after adversity have hit you on every stage. All right. So listen, Leaders Live Generously Academy with the one and only Dr. Anthony D. Shannon. Hope to see you real soon. All right, all right, all right, all right. Well, listen, we are back. We are back. We are back. We're back with our special guest, Dr. Eric Holmes. He was just breaking it down. He was taking us back. Okay, that means some of you 35 and over will understand this, and those of you that are 34 and younger, you may not even know what he's talking about. Okay, because your life is totally different. However, listen, for those of you who know, then you know. All right, but before the break, you were talking to us about the people that cared and different ones that poured into your life. Here's a question I got for you that I was thinking about as you were talking. All right, and you talked about the different things that defined you. But when did purpose? We talk about that everyone born is born for a purpose here. And when did purpose become real for you? Right? Not just, abstract or a concept, but a real calling for you.
It became purpose became real when I tapped into what was really in the inside of me, and then having people around me to pour in me, but yet pour what's in me out of me. And even some of the transition, I think one of the pivotal moments was really when my mom transitioned January 7th, 2015. And I had to do a presentation while I was at the John Hopkins Carey Business School on the 24th floor. And I was about to release my first book, The Power of the Seed. And right before I did, she transitioned. But the words I could hear her saying was, quitting is not an option. And so I was standing there on the 24th floor in front of a uh, audience of 40 people. And I dropped a pocket story in there and relating to the transition of her, but yet now really understanding my voice, really understanding what my purpose was, and is really, to influence, to inspire, to encourage, and use my voice to help somebody else. And then with that, it caused me to shift my mind and my perspective, and then being called to ministry next really shifted the whole trajectory of it.
Wow. You talk about your voice. Have you ever doubted your own voice? And if you did, how did you overcome that?
Sometimes we try to downplay what
Wow.
we really know what's in the inside of us, because here's the thing, sometimes we look at other people and then we look at where they are, or we try to measure, which I've learned this now so fully, trying to measure ours to someone else's. And we all, of course, born with a purpose, we all have our own of what God has given us, and yet and still we look at it and be like, you know what, I'm not this far, or I'm not ahead. And so I really had to take a look at, what has he given me? Okay, what am I to do with what he's giving me? And so when you really sit down and think about it, you look at it, it shifts your whole perspective. That we are all uniquely made in his image, and we all have a gift, we all have purpose, but we just have to tap into it and really come into the fullness of what it is we're to do.
Wow. And you help people find their voice, use their voice, even do radio, put people out there for their voice. What is the difference you think between having a voice and yet activating a voice?
Sometimes you can have a voice and people can say a whole lot of things, but are they really being impactful? Are they really being effective? Are they really changing, the lives and minds of others, or of being a great influence? Because, you could turn on news, people saying a whole lot of things, but really, are they being effective? Are they really changing or shifting the mindset of people, or are they just talking? But when you really activate what's inside of you, It's a whole difference because now you're able to really help others. You're really able, even when I say when I'm in the studio and I bring people into the studio on the radio show to really tap in and activate what's in them. Because a lot of times we have things that are just locked in us, or as they would say in our medical field, is laid dormant. But until you really tap into it and really until something is activated, that makes a whole difference now that when it's activated, it's going to shift it to a whole nother level.
Wow. 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 Now, you're definitely not shy. You haven't been ashamed of your faith. How important is your faith in shaping what you do?
Wow. Uh, it is so important because without it, I definitely wouldn't be here where
Mm,
I am and where I'm going.
mm,
It has gotten me through some of the most difficult seasons in life, transitions, and definitely the loss, definitely of a mother. But
mm,
it was because of faith. It was because the God in me. It was because the being rooted and grounded. And even though with the different transition and even with that tragic loss that, like I said, it was like a part of me, part of my heart was gone. And I tell anybody that's a hard pill to swallow. And the thing about it is, even with that, but having the faith, it made me it and to be stronger and to be strengthened because it's that same following week, that next week, I literally was the expediter, the morning worship leader for our service. And I literally got up there and literally shifted the whole atmosphere of the worship experience. And one thing my bishop said to me was like, wow, if he can get here and do this after the loss, what about us? And so it just triggered something that it was because of faith. It was because I was rooted and grounded in him.
mm,
Because without him, I definitely wouldn't have made it through. It was a hard transition. He kept my mind in it, especially as close as we were and growing up with family. I was at every appointment,
mm.
everything that I was there, and so it was only because of faith. It was only because of God that had helped me to get through the transition and that hardest part of ever with losing a mother. And so it's definitely faith built me, faith helped me, faith guided me, and faith got me on the other side of it.
Woo. Faith got you on the other side. Listen, since you're there, how did you, come to know the Lord, or what was your experience?
The experience was, of course, for all culture,
Yeah.
born and raised, but even when you shift or go in a direction and he brings you back, but it was at a pivotal moment when um I had joined my mom's church. They were AME because, of course, I went, and then after that, I went back to Baptist. But it was at that moment that, with the faith, with the belief, just seeing all of the things that God has brought me through and 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 even kept me from. And a lot of times we really don't talk about. We talk about seen and unseen danger, and when it becomes even more clear, I remember even young, how we used to jump porches and jump roofs and going on vacant houses and all the stuff we were doing. And I remember being in a vacant house, we were all jumping roofs, and literally the house we got locked in and it was on fire. But had it not been, whoo, for the sake, had it not been knowing that the hand of the Lord was on me then, that we made it out of there. Because my one of my older brothers was like, everybody's like, wait a minute, we're some of the people at, and they came in. It could have been another way.
Wow.
But even in that, you see how back then his hand was upon you. You see back then how he kept us. And now There's no, as they say, you can't make me doubt him. Because one, I know too much about him. And I've seen him, as Kurt Carr said, I've seen him do too much.
Mm,
I've seen him do in the worst of times, in the best of times. No one would ever make me doubt when it felt like our backs was against the wall. Those are not cliches. Those
no.
are facts and truth.
Wow.
I
That's
can go back to when I was 7 weeks old. Literally, thank God for the saints of the praying and on the altar who really caught on, because I had to be cut at 7 weeks old. My arm, my leg, and down my stomach when they said I wasn't going to live. But let me tell you, first of all, the hand of the Lord, purpose, had a purpose. But not only that, had a praying mother. Her
mm,
church had praying, those praying women of God that was on the altar.
wow.
So I know with the faith, with prayer, and I know it was nobody but God.
Wow. Well, you've heard it, ladies and gentlemen, from Dr. Eric Holmes. Hey, listen, he ain't talking theory, he talking experience that he said he know. All right. And when you get to that place that you know, that's how you know. All right. Well, listen, we're about to take another quick break. All right. We'll be right back. Not only that, we want to encourage you. All right. If you have not, got the latest book, we just dropped it in December. The process of change is now. We're in the fourth industrial revolution. AI, robotics. AI is moving at the speed of AI. Technology, robots, different people's jobs changing, shifting. Well, listen, the process of change is now. And I want you to know that your call to stop resisting change is not going to happen. Okay. So you might as well start leading with change. All right. Real insight, case studies is in this book. It's amazing. People like Blockbuster is in this book. They were number one, 90% or more of the market share when it comes to movies coming out. People would line up to go get the movies, watch it on DVD. Guess what? They had an opportunity to buy Netflix, but they didn't think Netflix ideas of where it was headed was going to work. So they said, no, we're not going to buy them. We pass them up. Years later, Blockbuster folded, and Netflix is the number one platform on demand streaming is Netflix, and they're putting out more movies than anyone. Wow. Why? Because they did not move fast enough. The process of change, my brothers and sisters, is now. Get this book today. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or you can definitely go to our website, thevictorychurchint.org. Get your copy today. I also want to invite you to our Leaders Live Generously Prayer Breakfast of Champions in person, August 28th through the 30th. Friday is the meet and greet. It's live. All right. We do a press release right there live after the meet and greet. Then Saturday is the prayer breakfast of champions, where we have some dynamic, powerful speakers. We got excellent food. And then, of course, Sunday is the fellowship, and we give out awards there. We honor folks. We got some speakers as well. And then we're honoring community leaders, leaders who have made impact, people that have done the work, not just talk or hoping. No, 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 no. They've had to do the work to get honored at one of these prestigious awards. And so we want to see you there in that weekend, that Leaders Live Generously weekend, right? Go to prayerbreakfastofchampions.com. If you're a speaker, if you are a storyteller and you got something that you know you want to say and people want to listen, you might want to apply to be a speaker. All right. You might want to, or a vendor. You've got books, you've got other things, you got products you need to sell. You want others to know about it. You want to travel around. Listen, get it today. All right. I want to see you at the place. What place? Leaders Live Generously Prayer Breakfast of Champions. It is a meal for the champions. All right. We'll see you then. All right. Well, listen, we're back. We're back with the one and only Dr. Eric Holmes. Time is moving so fast and so quickly, but I told you we never disappoint. We always bring you these leaders who can inspire, who are doing something, who's a catalyst for even others. And guess what? They're not afraid to talk about the God who loves on them. Amen. And so, Eric, you were talking about God and how God has impacted your life. I want to talk to a little bit now about mentorship. How important is mentorship? Okay. And what is one principle you learned about mentorship?
It is important because as I was sharing on, and actually I'm gonna share it too, this weekend as we travel, it is so important because with mentorship, it it causes what's in you when you have others that can give you that one more push that you need. For someone who have already blazed the trail, who has already gone where you're trying to get to, who can give you knowledge and wisdom that even you don't have to make some of the pitfalls or some of the challenges that they may experience that can help you. And even though we have experience that we all are going to go through, they can help you avoid some of the pitfalls or some of the challenges that you can avoid when you have a good mentor, when you have a good coach, when you have a good leader that can share, that can pour, that can help you and guide you, but most of all, that has your best interests at heart. And so it is important because I'm actually in a program called Inspire at my job for Hopkins. And every 8 weeks, I have a different individual. And tomorrow I have the last interview, then I'll get another one. But it helps them and guides them that we can share, even for me, having a mentor, to be able to mentor others is so important because sometimes you need that individual to help you, just like a midwife to push, to give you that one more push to say, you got one more push. So what's in you, it's got to come out, but you just sometimes need somebody to help you to pull what's in you out of you.
Wow, that is so, man, that is so powerful. You've also trained with Dr. Cheryl Wood. How did your connection with Dr. Cheryl Wood shape your journey in this business?
Wow. It's so amazing because I say to Dr. Cheryl all the time, and I'm an ambassador, of course, for GSU Global Speakers University, is that in eternity that he connected us, but it manifested in time and in the timing and season. I've known you, but yet in the timing and season was the connection, that divine connection. And so being taught and trained, it caused me really to come from the back to the front, but yet to continue to move forward, to be bold, to be confident. There's a difference. We tell people there's a difference between arrogance and confidence, but to be confident in who God has called me, to be confident, in my voice, confident in what He's given me, confident in my purpose. And so these last several years has been absolutely amazing, even to be international and travel international, but to also be in platforms and be in spaces that had God not connected us in eternity, that manifested in time. I think about where I would be, and it has just been absolutely amazing because she really has pulled the some of the best out of me and constantly pulls the best out of me and giving me necessary tools for the journey.
Wow, wow, wow. Man, that's so powerful. Then what would you say then, or should I say it this way? How important would it be then is mentorship for someone trying to grow their influence without one?
It's hard because you need somebody. We all need somebody. Like even from the word, like no man is an island. You'll never get nowhere going by trying to get there by yourself. And when you're trying to, you're gonna need somebody in life. You are going to just absolutely need somebody. Whether you were in the delivery room when I worked in OBGY, you're gonna need somebody to help you deliver. No matter where you are in life, you're going to need somebody. And it is important that you do have somebody that can help you, because I say, like with you, Dr. Shane, like you're phenomenal. Not just only writer, pastor, prophet, all of that. But I was just talking about you the other day. Why? Because you made an impact even when it came to creating and changing the atmosphere, shifting the atmosphere, and even as an MC, as a leader, a voice, but to command the atmosphere. And I thought about that because I went back and watched the clip of the Refute on Fire. But
Uh,
and I said to somebody, when I tell you, I said to my sister today on my way coming home from work,
mm,
I said, wow. I said he introduced me and I felt like Obama, but I said when you have somebody that can shift the atmosphere, but really set the tone
that's good.
for where you're at and where you're going, it takes a special individual to do that. And you do that. And so I'm grateful. And so it is important that you have people too. Even if I wasn't confident, you made me feel confident. So when I took the stage, I because you set the tone, you set the atmosphere. Like when we are worship leaders, or even the prayer leaders for morning service, like we set the atmosphere for the word, for the worship.
Good. That's very good right there. That's very good right there. They said it for the worship. I love that. That's so powerful. Let's talk about your book. The you got several, but the seed, the power of the seed. Come on. Many people don't understand that language. They think that church people is supposed to stay broke, busted, disgusted, take a vow of poverty. What is this seed he talking about? So let's talk about why you wrote the book and the power of it.
The power of the seed. And Uh, wow, it's amazing because my manager in a meeting this morning, she's like talking about planting a seed. Let me tell you, you don't have just let your light shine. You don't have to say a word. Now they know I've written the power of the seed, and I just released the power of the seed, a 30-day guided journal and companion with the power of the seed,
Okay,
which takes it, which definitely takes it a step further.
okay.
And with the power of the seed, here's how it all started. Came down one Saturday morning. I asked God to bless me with a project to be a blessing to ministry, to kingdom, to my bishop and first lady. After praying, he said, put it in the book, The Power of the Seed. After I opened the door to the deck, and it was a tree in the yard. It had changed colors. He said, your season just changed. Your season just changed. The power of the seed. And I began to write. And here it is, 11 years later from the first book. And then in the 10th year, I did a companion to the first one. Now, how powerful it is. And for me, because I studied agriculture, I studied the laws of the harvest, I studied seed time and harvest, and I studied it during Jewish history for a doctoral program. And so everything starts with a seed. Christ being the ultimate seed. Everything starts with the seed, but it is so powerful, even when we talk about the mustard seed, because it produces the orchard, even the birds perch under the shade. But if you understand how powerful that little tiny seed, when it germinates through the underground process to get to the set time and season, what it produces. So it seeds, even in the book, it's just more than we as believers understand seed, that we seed, we're sowing, it's going to produce a harvest, the rule of reciprocity. But from the farmer's perspective, that agriculture, it's a way of living, a way of produce. And so you have to understand from the spiritual to even the natural, how powerful it is, because everything starts with a seed. We were a seed. And so, and to understand how the breakdown it is it tells you, but before you can even plant seed or sow, it's got to be preparation process, even from the farmer's aspect, then from the seeding, the sowing, the planting. But here it is, Doc, is
Yeah.
that the middle of the process where which I teach them, is don't get stuck in the middle of the process, because you'll never see the harvest. The farmer will never see the harvest if he does not water, nurture, harvest it. Then that's when the seed germinates through the underground process to get to the set time and season and produce the harvest. And even in the first year, it may not be, but he knows he got something coming. So he starts it all over again. So the book is going to actually help you understand the process, the preparation, the seeding, the sowing, the planting, and you can even rejoice before you get to harvest.
Wow, wow, wow. This is why they need to get this book from Dr. Eric Holmes. You understand? As you can see, time does not even listen. We ain't even scratched the surface of what really we need to unfold out of this man of God, what God has spoke to him, done in him, through him, and the impact he's making. Listen, two things. Number one, let's do this. Let's give you this last question, and that is this: what is the one message, Dr. Eric, you would give to the person, right, who knows they're called, but they feel unqualified?
Say to them, God calls the unqualified,
Mm,
and never feel that you're not good enough because you were uniquely made and you were born with something that someone doesn't have. When the words of Dr. Shore, our thumbprint, everybody has a different thumbprint.
mm-hmm.
Everybody's is different, even identical twins. Nobody's thumbprint is the same.
Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from Dr. Eric Holmes himself. All right. Tell people how to follow you, how all your social media handles, how they can get these books and the companion.
So you can follow me on all of the social media outlets, Facebook, Eric Holmes, Twitter, Dr. Eric Holmes, on IG, The Power of the Seed, which is my first book. And you can find me on TikTok, Dr. Eric Holmes, or you could just Google me. It'll come up, all that information. Or if you are in, say, the Dauphin County areas, the Baltimore City areas,
Baltimore.
Baltimore County, you can go to the library and find these books in the library. I've been blessed that all of my books are actually in the libraries. So you can just go and Google it. All that stuff's on there. And you can just reach me, connect with me on all of the social media, or go to my radio page, which is Praise 104.4 Gospel. And so definitely you can connect with me from any of those outlets.
Wow. Well, listen, everybody, you heard it. Now, what we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, we meant to do it earlier, but Dr. Eric Holmes, he speak on stages, and we're going to show you some clips of Dr. Eric Holmes, and then you're going to watch this of how he's in action, so you know he ain't just talking. You understand? This is what he do. Amen. And we want you to check that out.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Refute on Fire conference, y'all. Give it up for the one and only Dr. Marcia, y'all. She does everything in excellence, but what intrigued me last night about 1 a.m. was God showed me something. It is actually 3 visions in one, but for one purpose. You have the Refute on Fire conference, you have Inspire Global, and then you have the leadership tour. Each one of them, L.A. Roberts, Sean Fair, and Dr. Marcia, to come together, to bring us together, traveling all throughout the Mexican Riviera, is that you got 3 different visions, but one purpose. And the one purpose, we're all here today. Share the story, inspire somebody, encourage somebody. And Dr. Teresa just set the stage because I wanted to talk on purpose. Are you walking in your purpose or the perception of it? Do you really understand purpose? Have you defined purpose? And once you do those two, you'll be able to walk in your purpose, and then you'll be able to fulfill it. Last night we were at dinner and we began to talk about purpose. They were all talking about purpose. My big bro, Mr. Freddie, said, I learned mine at about 50. Somebody else said one thing. We talked about purpose-driven life. And I said they tapped into everything I wanted to talk about on this afternoon. We are here on the ocean in the Mexican Riviera traveling, but for one, it was purpose. And so I wanted to just awaken the purpose in you, to ignite. We talked about Refute on Fire, revving up. And I remember when Dr. Marcia did the banner. So it's starting that engine. What ignites you? And so with this passion within us, everyone was created
for purpose. We all have purpose, but the thing is we've got to learn what it is, tap into it, but then be able to walk in it. And sometimes you need a mentor. Sometimes you may need a coach. Sometimes you may need your pastor. Sometimes you may need that midwife. Me working in healthcare, even in the delivery, they need a midwife to say, you got one more push. Tell your neighbor, I know we're not in church, but say, you got one more push.
We also want you to go to his social medias and blow him up. All right, follow him and do all of those things that what you're going to do. All right. And so we thank you, Dr. Eric Holmes, for being a part of this wonderful Leading from the Future broadcast, man. And of course, you know, you got to come back because we've got to do part 2. All right. Part 2. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for that. Now, listen, everybody, we want to continue to always give you an opportunity to sow into the broadcast. Y'all know this broadcast goes all over the world. TCT, Word Network, On Stage Plus, Apple TV, Roku, and Hulu. All right. And we send it all around the world. Of course, we put it on YouTube as well. But these are major networks. Okay. And so we always ask you to sow a seed. You heard him say the power of the seed in his book. All right. So you can't go wrong in sowing a seed. All right. $1,000, $500, $200, $50. All right. $100. Sow the seed. And here's the ways you can do it. The Victory Church, INT, Cash App, the V Church. You can download the app there and sow the seed there. If you want to be a blessing to me anytime, please let the Lord talk to you. All right. And go ahead and use that. All right. And we thank you for that. Also, don't forget. All right. Follow me on LinkedIn, Anthony D. Shannon, Facebook, Anthony D. Shannon, Instagram, Anthony D. Shannon. All right. Follow me. All right. So that you'll see what we're doing next. And of course, we want to see you in the academy. Of course, we want to see you on the stage. All right. August 28th, 29th, and 30th. You want to be there. The Leaders Live Generously weekend. Everyone knows it's a generous weekend. You will leave with way more than you got because that's how we roll. You understand? We believe in generosity. All right. Blessing the folks. Jesus said, if you love one another, then the world will know that you are my disciples. All right. And as always, I'm on here to tell you, we're going to be playing Dr. Holmes. You're going to be checking them out. And then right after Dr. Holmes, all right, we want you to know that God loves you. God keeps you. And guess what? You can't do nothing about it because he loves you regardless how you perform. We believe everybody is born for a purpose. So we want you to find your purpose so you can live your life. And then you can leave a legacy. All right. Peace.
Thank you for joining us on another incredible episode of Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. We've had an amazing journey exploring visionary leadership and inspiring insights. If you're passionate about sharing your story and ideas on our show, we'd love to have you as a guest. Simply reach out to us via email at thevictorychurchint@gmail.com. To ensure the continued success of our channel, we warmly invite you to contribute. We're seeking 10 generous individuals to donate $1,000 each, as well as 10 contributors with a gift of $526, and 10 supporters donating $224.24. Every donation, regardless of the amount, makes a significant impact. However, as a token of our gratitude, each contributor will receive a personalized prophetic word and an exclusive ebook. You can contribute through 3 convenient ways. The first is Cash App. That's right, $ Anthony D. Shannon, or $ The Victory Church INT. You can also download the V Church app. Search for us on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Follow the prompts and make your contribution. Whether you contribute $1,000 or any amount, every donation makes a difference. Go ahead and support us today. For more information and to stay connected, please visit leaderslivegenerously.com. We appreciate your support in advancing our mission. Well, thank you for being a part of this incredible community. Join us again next time as we lead from the future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon.